Hi everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys? Happy to be here with you today. I am bringing you another project with the Bag of Bones bundle, also the Them Bones designer series paper. It's a really fun little bundle and you're going to have so much fun with it. So today I have made my Graveyard Kit Kat slider box. So inside here, if you pull on your box, is the Kit Kat's Break Your Bones white chocolate wafers. So they call them Break Your Bones, obviously. They're Kit Kats, and if you snap them apart, it's like breaking their bones. I thought it was really cute because it had a skelly on the wrapper, and so I made this cute little graveyard box to, and you have the little skeleton hanging out there in the back. Hanging on the tombstone to say hi. The trick or treat is from Throughout the year. I couldn't place it. And I really love the font of that trick or treat, so I used that today. And let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to move this stuff out of the way and we can get started on our project. We'll move our little graveyard box over to the right. So for this project, you're going to need a couple different colors. I used gray granite and basic gray. And so the main box is basic gray, and then the inner box is gray granite. And so we're going to do a little bit of scoring with my Simply Scored board. All right, so for the actual box itself, or the box wrap, if you want to call it that, we're going to score at 3/4 of an inch, 2.5 inches, 3¼ inches, and 5 inches. And then on the short side, we're going to do 3/4 of an inch. Again, 3/4 of an inch, 2.5, 3¼ and 5. That is, and then, then rotate one turn and it's 3/4. For our inner box piece, this is, I'm sorry, I don't think I told you the size. This one's 4¾ by 5.5. And the inside box, the one that slides out, is 3¼ by 5.5. So on the inner box, I am going to score on all the sides at 3/4. Okay, so that one you're going to go 3/4 of an inch. And then turn 3/4 of an inch, turn 3/4 of an inch, and turn, and 3/4 of an inch. All right, so all four sides, 3/4 of an inch. Let's go ahead and burnish our pieces. I'll start with the inside box, and this one's gray granite. All right, so for this inside piece, we're going to trim these pieces here. So this one. All right, and then we're going to go to the opposite side and do the same thing. All right, so these come in like this, and those close like this. So I'm going to use my 1/2 inch circle punch, and I'm going to punch out a 1/2 inch circle. Right there, so that I can have something to pull my piece with. And if this is going to butt up against it, which it is, the sides are a little bit too long, I'm just going to trim a little bit off each side and just make sure that it doesn't interfere with that opening. Okay, so I just trimmed a little bit off, like 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch from each of those sides. So let's go ahead and glue this piece, and then we'll work on the wrap part of the box. So we're gonna put adhesive on the 4 tabs. So we'll start up here at the top, at the front. I'm gonna grab my silicone mat just in case. So I'll start with that side, hold it for a second, and then work on the other one. And again, hold it for a second. Just make sure that the front looks nice, because that's the part we're gonna see, right? Right in the front where you pull out. And then we're gonna do the 2 back pieces. All right, so let's go ahead and put the Kit Kats inside and set those off to wait their turn on the right hand side out of the way. All right, so now we're gonna do the other piece. All right, so we're gonna score with my bone folder on all of the score marks. And then this piece here. All right, so it only has 1 score because the back of the box needs a closure, but the front needs to be open, okay? So this is going to turn and be adhered to this side right here, okay? So this section, we need flaps. So we're gonna get rid of this small flap right here. Get rid of that completely. We don't need it. This is the part that's going to take the glue, and I am going to angle cut that so that there's not that much bulk right in those corners, okay? And then we need to cut in and I'm also going to angle these tabs of my box. And then same here, we're gonna go straight, and then we're gonna angle the tabs of this box. All right, so you have the little skinny one, a long rectangle, a skinny rectangle, a long rectangle, and a skinny. All right, and then we're gonna glue these together like this, okay? So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna move our pieces out of the way. We're going to put adhesive on this portion, and then we're going to bring this piece in to meet it and just hold that for a second in place. Get that to grab. All right, and now we're going to put the back of the box together. So these tabs are going to go in. And the top is going to go in first, and I'm going to bring the back second. And the reason I'm doing that is it's going to help me with my grass. So I'm not going to go ahead and pull that in yet. I'm just going to use my bone folder to attach what I have so far. This piece here is going to be the back section of my box. And as you can see here, I have grass coming up where the tombstone is. So that is a small piece for the grass. This is lemon lime twist, and it's 1 inch by 1 3/4 inches, and I went ahead and cut with the grass die from the Bag of Bones dies. And so what I want to do is I want to add adhesive here and then adhesive to my box closure, but I want to glue them at the same time because that's why I did that first. I'm gonna put my grass in and make sure that it sticks up nicely, okay? And then I'm gonna close my box with that grass piece inside. That will hold that a lot better. You can see that there. When I put it on in that direction, you can see it at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just gonna push that closed. All right, the next part is the grass on the other side. So I have 2 pieces of lemon lime twist that are 4 inches by 1 1/4, and I cut the grass just at the very top. And so what I want to do is add adhesive to the sides of my wrap, or my box wrap, or whatever you want to call it. I'm making quite a mess. Trying to make sure I wipe that glue away. All right, and then we're going to add the grass to the one side, and it's going to go to the bottom. So I'm going to actually put it down and hold that and make sure that it's flush. And then that is our grass piece on that one side. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Sorry. Oh, why am I making such a glue mess today? I'm going to be using some adhesive remover later when my whole box is done glued and set. All right, so we're going to grab our other piece, and I'm going to add that on this side. And again, same thing. You just want to make sure that it grabs. You put your finger in there. You can also drop it this way and run the bone folder down. Make sure that it grabbed nicely right there. And I'm going to make sure that it's nice and even. All right, so now we have our little grass area. So now I have a piece of designer series paper from Them Bones, and this piece of DSP is 1 3/4 by 4, and I'm gonna go ahead and adhere that to the top. This is a fun designer series paper pack. While it's not my favorite Halloween colors, I know that they incorporated some of the in colors in here. I would have preferred a more traditional, but I still am enjoying this pack of paper. I think it's really well done. Come on. So we're gonna slide that in. And this goes on top of the grave. Just make sure that it's even. All right. So there is our DSP. And I'm just gonna kind of push it in place and make sure that it's good. Let's go ahead and slide our box in and get it off my table and out of the way. Don't know why it's not going all the way in. I have to use my bone folder. There we go. I think it was just not set perfectly. All right, so there's our slider box front, or in. And now we're gonna work on, I actually have a little bit of adhesive stuck there. I need to get that off or it's gonna keep sticking to me. All right. Perfect. So now we're going to work on, hang on. Now we're going to work on the grave. So for the grave, we have the 2 dies from the Bag of Bones, and I stamped in gray granite our little skeleton, and he's all together and ready to go. What I would like to do with him is I will take my paper snips and I'm going to fussy cut around this hand. It has it attached to his hip, and I want it to be separate because I want it to go around the grave. So I'm gonna disengage it, and then I'm just gonna trim around the hip area and this part of his little ribs so that the hand is completely free. Okay, and then on our smaller tombstone, I'm gonna use the gray granite. I mean, not gray granite, the basic gray. And I'm gonna stamp the Trick or Treat. I love this stamp from throughout the year. And we're gonna kind of get that near the top area, but centered. Because we need the grass to be underneath it, so it can't be too low. All right, so there's my Trick or Treat. And then I'm going to use my scrap paper and some gray granite. Actually, I think I'm gonna use basic gray. I'm just gonna be gentle. And I'm gonna go around the tombstone and just kind of set off that inlaid piece on the die cut by going around it like this, okay? And that kind of gives it kind of a glow or a second layer to it. All right, now for this piece here, we're going to attach it to the box and to the mausoleum or the decorative background. I called this the mausoleum opening, but it could be lots of things, right? Whatever we want it to be. So I'm gonna move that out of the way. I'm done with that. So I'm gonna grab my dimensionals and I'm just gonna put just a few of them. I don't want them right at the bottom, but I want them near the top here. So I'm gonna put those there. I'm using the edges because I have a bunch right now and I just need to get rid of them. So we're gonna put some here. I'm gonna put one piece, excuse me for my hiccups, right in the center like that, okay? And let's go ahead and pull the backs off with my Take Your Pick tool and attach it onto our decorative tombstone area or mausoleum die, whatever you want to call it. All right. So then this is going to be attached, and we're not putting it right over this part because we want it to sit higher up. So I'm kind of putting it up here where it reaches this straight edge. I kind of want the ends of this to be even with that. And I want to just double check that it's centered because I don't want it to be crooked. All right, I have to hold it up and then I'll show you guys. All right, so there is our Trick or Treat. Now this part that doesn't have the dimensionals, that's good because we want to glue that. So I'm gonna put a little bit of wet glue behind there. Hold that in place just for a second. And then we're going to adhere this piece to the grass. So I'm actually going to put glue on the grass and on the back of the box. And then we're going to bring our little mausoleum right there to the end, or our tombstone to the end. And you can see that by stamping up nice and high, that has given us the room that we need for our Trick or Treat. So cute. Let's bring our little skellies up front. Okay, so now we're going to put our skeleton. I'm going to use a mini dimensional, and I'm going to cut it in half. I know that sounds insane because it's so small already, but we're going to cut it in half, and part of it I'm going to put on his hand, the one that's going to touch the tombstone, and then the other part I'm going to put on his chest where it's going to show, and it's at the third rib there. So I'm going to remove that one. I'm going to remove this one. Okay. I'm going to try and get those in the trash so they don't end up on my crafting floor. All right. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to put my little guy back here. I'm going to make sure that his little hand is on that tombstone and that his chest is lifted up and that his hand is touching that tombstone just like that. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and close this for it temporarily. And I'm going to use my wet adhesive, and I'm going to kind of flip my box upside down and add adhesive to the legs and the hips of my little guy. And then I'm just going to hold him in place until he adheres to the back, and it looks like he's trying to climb over the top, right? How cute is that? From the back end, he's trying to climb over the top of the tombstone. And in the front, let me open my box again so you can see the skellies. In the front, he's just kind of peeking and waving at the back. I thought this was just the cutest little project, and I really had a fun time designing my box and my slider and my, all the elements of this project. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this project. I certainly have enjoyed making it with you. Again, we used the Bag of Bones bundle, and throughout the year for that trick-or-treat sentiment, I'll try and put this one this way so that you guys can see in the camera. If you missed yesterday's project, oh my gosh, so cute. And I hope that you enjoyed watching me make this. Thanks for being here. Check up there, click up there, and watch the project from yesterday. And I will see you next time. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!